Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, and thank you again for joining me here on the mat. A couple things before we get started today. We're going to be doing some deeper leg stretches. So, a book or a yoga block, if you have one, I actually don't, so I'm going to be using this nice thick book. Can help lift you up just a little bit higher if the legs start to feel tight. So, a tool you might want to grab. And then let's also go ahead and grab, if you have a strap, or maybe just a scarf, or even a towel will work. Something just to use to hold the legs later on. We'll be getting a deep leg stretch after we sort of work our lower body. And then we'll simply get started in our child's pose. So again, knees together for bigger low back stretch. Knees apart to work into the hips. Forehead down. Fingers are reaching. I'm going to pick my head up just so you can hear me a little bit better, but your forehead's down. A really grounding pose. This connection of third eye centered to mat starts opening up our shoulders, and we will be getting more of a shoulder stretch later. So first, just letting the body relax into this pose and focus on the breath. Slowing the inhales down, inhaling a little deeper every time. Exhales, clearing the mind. We're always looking to let go of thoughts, worries, concerns, and be present. Sometimes when I talk about setting an intention, that could mean letting go of something that's maybe been on your mind, leaving it here on the mat. Could be something you're working towards, like peace or calm. Or maybe you're dedicating your practice to someone that needs it. Either way, maybe setting that intention now if you will be practicing with one. Inhale brings you to tabletop with fingers spread, shoulders stacked over wrists and hips over knees. And we'll start working our way through our cats and cows. So inhaling, lifting hips, chest, chin, putting a dip in low back. Exhaling and arcing spine as high as it'll go. Inhaling, stretching chest. Noticing how that feels in the low back. Exhaling, really big arc, opening up the shoulders, and just connecting breath with movement. We call repetitive poses where we connect breath to movement, moving meditations, because you can kind of just get lost in the flow of things. It's almost as though breath tells body what to do, and everything else gets a little break. Let's come up for one more inhale. And exhale to our neutral tabletop with fingers spread. Let's curl toes under, lift the seat right away, coming into our first downward facing dog. We'll pedal and open up the calves. We'll soften neck and relax shoulders. A little press of the chest back towards the legs to open up the shoulders. And then we'll walk toes to hands and come into our first forward fold. Knees are very soft, head's hanging. Option to grab elbows, shaking out the head to release the neck, swaying out the torso to release the low back. So here's that first opportunity to use the book. You may not need it though. But we're going to put so much bend in our left knee that we can place our left fingertips in front of our toes. If you are a little bit tighter in the right leg, or maybe it just doesn't feel safe, that's when you might want this big, thick book. Raise that hand up a little bit. It's a good way to gently open up the leg. Right knee looks straight, but there's a hint of softness, and we're just going to inhale, sweep our right fingers up. A nice back stretch. We're stacking wrist over shoulder, and we're engaging our core like we're pulling belly button into spine. That'll help release the back, strengthen the core. Next exhale, put that big bend in right knee. If you're using a book, slide it under the right hand. If you're not, place the hand on the floor in front of the toes. Left knee looks straight, but you're always got that hint of softness so as not to hyperextend. We'll inhale, sweep. We're stacking wrist over shoulder, maybe even looking up for a little neck stretch. Core is engaged to help release back. Exhale that left hand down. Inhale, come up halfway lift. Remember that pose where we flatten our back and reach our ears out of our shoulders. Strong bodies, strong backs. Lower. And take a really nice, slow roll up to standing. That's going to be the last thing to come up. Mountain pose. More than just standing, remember that. We're grounding through our feet, lifting up our chest, softening our knees. We're going to come right into our first pose from standing, a warrior one, and I really want to be mindful of the setup. Make sure that book's nearby. So I'm going to start on my right side, and I'll turn and face so you can look at me. My right toes are going to be facing forward, and I'm going to take my left foot back into a big lunge. Now you might not be able to see it, but my left toes are angled up towards the left corner of my mat. They're at like a 45 degree, and I'm pressing through the pinky edge of my back foot. That's because my hips are spinning forward just a bit, and I really want to keep that back knee safe. This also gives a nice stretch in the low back. But don't worry so much about bringing that left hip forward that you make things unsafe for that back knee. To keep things safe in front, knee on top of ankle, hands overhead. Nice soft shoulders, relaxing them away from ears. Strong legs here. Warrior one. Pick up that left heel, just step to the top and sit into a chair, shoulders relaxing. Chest is lifted, seats back. Weight is in the heels, toes can flutter up. Big inhale. Exhale down to toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale back to toes. Sweep hands overhead. Exhale through heart center. Same thing on the left. Left toes facing forward. Right foot steps back. Warrior one. You might be able to see my foot a little better this time. My right toes are angled towards the top right corner of my mat. Pressing through pinky edge of that back foot. Really making sure that foot is grounded. Taking out about 50% of the weight. But my knee's safe. Knees stacked on top of ankle in front. And hips ever so slightly squared towards the front of your mat. Don't force that right hip though if it hurts your right knee. And you'll feel a nice opening in the low back. Hands are up, shoulders are relaxed. Warrior one, left side. Just a little hold to strengthen, a place to connect with breath. Pick up right heel, spin those toes to the front, step to the top, exhale chair. Strong seat, strong legs, lifted chest. Weight in heels. Inhale, fill. Exhale, toes. Halfway lift. Exhale back down. Stay here for a beat. I'm going to turn around and then we'll inhale up together. This time exhale, a little back bend, reach back, look up, feels really good. Inhale, center. So right toes facing forward one more time. I'm going to step left back into that warrior one position. So we've been here before. Nice safe setup. Really think about stacking right knee on right ankle. Left toes are facing that top left corner, grounding through pinky edge. Get that knee nice and safe, hands overhead. Shoulders relaxed. So maybe you feel that the legs have been working. We're going to take it up a notch and get a nice shoulder stretch in that at the same time. Hands come behind low back. Fingers are interlaced like a little basket. And we're going to bring those knuckles towards the mat. Squeeze our elbows, shoulder blades together. Big stretch across the chest as we look up. Big inhale. Exhale, hands overhead. We're going to take a big bow inside of our right leg. This is called our humble warrior. And you should really feel it in your right hamstring. Inhale, come up. Hands overhead. Shoulders relax. So we've been working out this leg pretty good. Let's give it a well-deserved break. Take all but a hint of softness out of that front right knee. We're going to exhale, fold. Here's the thing. Fingertips could be on the mat. You could keep a lot of length in your back. You could start to melt your forehead to your shin. If you have a tight leg, that handy-dandy book, you can bring it in front of the toes, behind the heel. Bring the hands up just a touch. And then let that leg open with time and not with force. Knees soft, never hyperextended. If you're looking for a deeper stretch, get it by melting your forehead to shin, not by locking your knee. Ready for a little bonus challenge? And you can do this if you're using your book. Just make sure your hands are really grounded into your book. Your left heel is going to pick up, your left toes spin to the front, and they start to walk in. Your right knee soft, your right foot soft, and using the strength of your left leg, you'll hover it off the mat. Today, it doesn't have to go more than 2 inches. Someday, one day, Might go 4 feet off the mat. Keep that left hip pointed down. Here's our standing splits pose. Okay, are you ready? We're going to set our left toes down. We're going to come onto the left ball of our foot. Heel lifted, nice and slow, knee stacked on top of ankle. Here's a little more leg strength. Reach those hands overhead, crescent lunge. Your feet are on separate skis. Weight is 50-50, both legs. We'll step to the top. Woo! And exhale into a chair, relaxing shoulders in the process. Inhale, fill. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Dive back down. I'm going to turn around so you can see my left side. Alright, inhale, sweep hands overhead. Nice big reach. Exhale through heart center. And we're going to set up that strong warrior one on the left side. Left toes facing the front of your mat. Right foot steps back. And I should tell you, your heels might line up, this front left heel with the back right. Or, for stability's sake, they could be a little bit wider. Almost like they're in separate tracks. That's cool too. Pressing through pinky edge of right foot. Safe right knee. Hips going towards the front of your mat. Not sacrificing the in process. Hands overhead. Shoulders relaxed. You ready for our shoulder stretch? Hands down. Fingers interlace. Shoulders squeeze together. I should say draw shoulder blades together. Open chest, look up. Big inhale. Exhale, hands overhead. Bowing inside of your left leg. Big shoulder stretch. And pretty tough pose for that entire left leg. Inhale, come back up. Reach hands, warrior one. That left leg might be talking to you a little bit at this point. Take all but a hint of softness out. And we're going to exhale, fold, pyramid pose. Fingertips can be on mat, back can be flat. Hint of softness in the knee. If you need a touch more bend, no worries. And maybe, to not force the stretch, you come up a little bit higher on that nice, steady, thick book. And of course, melting forehead to shin if you're interested in going deeper. We're never looking to force a stretch. Just because you're able to touch your forehead to your shin yesterday or last week doesn't mean it has to happen today. Ready to challenge balance? Right heel lifts. Right toes spin forward. Left foot is soft. You're connecting through the ball and the heel of your foot. And you're walking those right toes in. Left knee soft. Doesn't matter if toes barely leave the mat. Someday they might come a foot, 2, 3, or 4. Keep that right hip pointed down wherever you're at. Strong left leg. Step right toes back as far as they'll go. Feet are on separate skis. You're on the ball of your right foot, knee stacked over, ankle in front, hands overhead. Shoulders relaxed. Really strong yogis. Step to the front. Sit into the chair. Oh, legs might really be talking to you now. Don't worry, we're going to really stretch them out later. Inhale, fill. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. just so that when you exhale the next time around, you really go deep. Knees soft, option to add. Grab elbows again. If you want to switch it up, you can interlace fingers overhead, similar to that stretch we got in our humble warrior. Don't lock the knees. Focus the breath. Clear the thoughts. Release the hands. Heel, toe, feet to the edges of the mat. Toes are going to spill off the mat. Heels will stay on. This is how wide we want our feet. We're simply going to drop our seat between our knees. Alternate face, you can see what I'm doing. Here's our traditional yogi squat or malasana. Hands never have to leave the mat. Seat could be a little bit higher, especially if the hips are really talking to you. And you have this guide too. You can always come up just a touch higher. The hips are feeling good. You feel safe in the knees. You could always play with bringing hands to heart center, stacking vertebra in the spine. It's a big hip stretch. Focus on breath. Slow the breathing right back down. Hands down, seat up, heel toe center, and just come on to your seat. We're going to get rid of this book for now. We don't need it anymore. I do want you to keep your strap or scarf, whatever you decided to use, in your bag. We're going to head to our backs, and I want you to have to go searching for it. So come onto the back. Knees are bent, soles are planted. Just feeling the low back melt into the mat. So we're going to work our legs, our backs just a little bit more with a couple rounds of bridge. Hands are going to be by the sides. We're going to exhale completely. And on the inhale, we'll lift our seat in line with our knees. We're going to draw our knees together. Feet are separated. So we're drawing our knees together at the middle. They don't have to touch. This just ensures we're turning all the right parts of our body on. Option to interlace fingers underneath you and come up even higher on your shoulders. Inhale, bring hips up just a little higher. Release the fingers, lower seat. Let that low back release into the mat and windshield wiper knees side to side. Big release. Plant the soles. Round 2. Fingers are reaching for the heels. See how my heels are about hip distance apart. Complete exhale. Inhale and lift. Palms can be pressed to mat or fingers can be interlaced. Knees are drawn together. If you want to take it a step further, you could pick up right heel. Notice how that changes things. You could float right toes. You could play with resting ankle on your knee. It's kind of a nice midway point. Inhaling hips a little higher, strong bodies. Strong glutes if you're one leg. Put that right foot back down. lower. Low back releases into the mat, knees fall side to side. If you're craving a bigger release, draw your knees into your chest, give them a squeeze, take a little rock. Plant soles. Third and final bridge. Heels are walking to seat, fingers are reaching for heels. Exhale. Inhale to lift. If bridges are new to you, never worry about going into the next variation. Just stay here. You're going to be building a lot of strength. A nice step 2 is simply lifting up the heel, noticing how that turns on different parts of the low body. Maybe today's the day the toes float. If you're looking for that midway point, maybe it's placing the ankle on the knee. Either way, inhaling those hips up a little higher, strong, strong body. Keep breathing. It's tempting to hold your breath in a back bend. Don't do it. Exhale that foot back down. Lower hips. Take your knees side to side. Or maybe draw your knees into your chest and rock. Plant the soles. For an even bigger release, take your feet to the edges of your mat and let your knees fall together at the center. A bigger release for back, for the insides of our legs. We'll soften jaws. We'll take a moment to focus on breath or any intention we may have set. Bring the knees apart. Heel toe the feet centered. Draw the knees into the chest one more time. Take the feet up to the ceiling. Knees come open to the ribs. Grab the feet. Here's what's called our happy baby. We'll take a little rock. Massage out, stretch out our low back and our hips. You could play with straightening a leg. Release. Bring your feet to the mat. Plant your soles. Take your right ankle, place it on your left knee, figure 4. Here's our pigeon poses, our recline. You can interlace behind the left leg, on top of the left shin to go deeper. We're going to relax our shoulders, unclench our jaw, and allow our hip to release. We're focusing on breath and slowing the breathing right back down. Exhale your left foot to the mat, uncross your right, windshield wiper your knees side to side. plant your soles. Take your left ankle to your right knee. Decide where you want to interlace your fingers. Soften your shoulders, release your jaw. And just allow your left hip to relax open as you focus simply on inhaling and exhaling. Or maybe return to any intention you set. Staying present. We're always practicing on letting go of thoughts and just enjoying the moment and relaxing into the stretch. Alright, exhale your right foot to the mat, uncross your left. Take that little releasing windshield wiper. And now that really restorative leg stretch I promised you. So, grab onto a scarf or strap. You can even use a belt or towel. Inhale your right leg in. Give it a really big squeeze as you exhale. Maybe dropping that foot over towards your armpit just a touch. I'll show you first with the scarf and then with the strap. You're simply going to take whatever you're using to the bottom of your foot. Hopefully it's long enough that you can even rest your elbows right back on the floor. Knees soft, and we're just going to pull our leg towards our chest. Again, not hyperextending the knee, hint of softness. You can play with pointing your toe, that'll feel really good in the ankle and the shin. You could play with flexing your foot if you need a calf stretch. And we're going to hold this one. We're going to give our leg time to open and release. A good place to just focus on breath and practice letting go of thoughts without attaching any feelings or emotion to them. That's where that sort of mindfulness and meditation come into play. Now we're going to take both parts of our scarf or our strap into our right hand, and we're going to open that leg off to the right. And you're really reaching that leg up. Those toes, trying to bring them closer to the shoulder. No worries if that just isn't accessible for you. But feeling a different stretch on the inside of our right leg. Noticing the changes, and then just clearing the thoughts and bringing focus back to breath. Inhale your right leg up. Take a little hold at the top. Allow it to neutralize. And we're going to take both parts of our strap into the left hand, and we're going to take our leg across the body. Now we're tapping into our IT band here. We're trying to keep toes perpendicular to the hip. Knee, of course, is soft. If you have knee pain and you use your legs a lot, the stretch might be really important for relieving some of that pain just below the kneecap. And try and relax into the pose and focus on the breath. Inhale your leg center. Bend your knee. Remove scarf strap. Give that knee a nice big squeeze as you exhale. And then use your left hand to take your leg across your body. It's like you're keeping a right angle shape. Knee in line with hip, ankle in line with knee. Maybe you're even able to rest your ankle on the mat for a really big stretch in the low back. No worries if it's hovering. Right fingers might reach out, a little counterbalance.
Maybe you'll even look to the right if this twist feels good in your neck.
If it doesn't, just face the ceiling. Bring your head center. Take your leg back across. Give it a nice big squeeze. And send your leg long. So the same deal on the left side. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, a really big squeeze, maybe even taking it slightly to the left. Now I'll demonstrate with my strap. Comes to the bottom of the foot. Foot kicks up. Knees soft, shoulders relaxed to mat, and if your strap, belt, scarf is long enough, you can just rest your elbows on the mat so you're not introducing any unnecessary tension. Knees are soft and you are holding with the hands, but trying to keep the hands as soft as possible. I know that's not easy. And then maybe simply playing with pointing toes or flexing foot. And then using this opportunity of hold to just clear the mind and slow the breathing down. Bring both parts of the strap over to left and open your foot to the left. Noticing how the stretch changes, keeping your knees soft and your head clear. center. A little hold at the top to neutralize things. And then both parts are going to come into your right hand. You'll take that leg across the body. I say try and keep toes in line with hip. That's not about how far you go over. It's just perpendicular, about hip level. Shoulders remain on the mat, but that entire seat can pick up off the mat. Knee stays soft. Bring your legs center, a little hold, and then we'll bend. We'll remove our strap. We'll bring our knee into our chest. One more squeeze. And then right hand will draw that right angle of a left leg over. So maybe your ankle rests, maybe it hovers. Big opener for the low back, maybe reaching left fingers. Maybe even taking a look to the left, but only if it feels good in the neck. And center, knee back across, give it a squeeze. Draw the right knee to meet the left. Inhale, both your knees in. A big squeeze to open your back. A little rock. We'll draw forehead up to knees. And we'll exhale into Savasana, our final resting pose. Everything softens and rolls open. Jaw releases. Breath steadies. Clearing the mind. Returning to any intention you may have set. We'll begin waking back up by inhaling deeply, putting a little movement in fingers and toes, rolling wrists, ankles. We'll take a look side to side. We'll reach fingers, we'll reach toes. If your day's ending, maybe it's more of a gentle length. If it's just beginning, Maybe a big wake up stretch. We'll roll to the right and we'll pause. And then press to your easy seated position. As always, I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.